Hey everybody, it's Jeff Messer with Issues With. We're here with Shelton Drum as the clock is running now. We're heading into the home stretch for HeroesCon 2019, the 37th year of HeroesCon. And Shelton brought with him here some really great treasures from the past. Going down Nostalgia Road, I know I did this. The one that's on top right here, this is for the 10th HeroesCon, Convention X. Holds a deep place in my heart because I saw the rock band Seduction of the Innocent play at the end of that. Do you remember any of that? Is it all just a haze at this point?
Oh, no, I remember that show very well. Barry Windsor Smith was at the show. He's one of my favorite artists of all time. And so, yeah, that was big for me. And I enjoyed having Seduction here, too.
I remember that being just a ton of fun. I was just 21. Now, it was in a ballroom, right?
That show was at what was called then the Charlotte Apparel Center. And it was an event space, not really a convention center, but it had like two exhibit halls with an atrium in the middle, and then there was a ballroom on one end where we had that Seduction of the Innocent show.
It was a fun show. My biggest memory of that, and this is just embarrassing truths about being a 21-year-old, is that I was sitting there. I feel like I was sitting at a bar or something resembling a bar, and Colleen Doran came in and sat down like 2 chairs down from me, and I was just so flustered because she was one of those people who's like, oh my God, there's a girl at a Comic-Con and she's talented and she's an artist. It was like back then it was sort of taboo. Now it's kind of amazing. This is for everybody. Back then, when we were going through it, it was like only geeky guys were into comics. Now everybody seems to be into comics, and I think it's amazing to see conventions like HeroesCon with the cosplay, with everything. Do you have any sense, because I guess you keep track of numbers in some way, shape, or form, do you have any sense of the ratio, male versus female, of fandom now?
Fandom?
Or especially at HeroesCon.
I don't think it's 50-50 yet, but there are a lot of women and girls, percentage-wise, coming to the shows. I think cosplay had a lot to do with that, but there are a lot of talented women working in comics too, and I guess that makes it easier for girls to see that it can be done, and it is an okay thing. But there's a lot of content for women too. That women appreciate, and you probably thank Neil Gaiman for that more than anybody. With Sandman brought in more women into our industry initially in the '80s than anything else, and it's just blossomed from there.
Right. And in pop culture-wise, we have Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, movies, TV shows like Supergirl, right. A lot of strong female role models and influence out there. Talk about some of the wonderful ladies that are coming to HeroesCon this year. Who are some of the guests that you have that you're looking forward to seeing?
Oh my gosh, well, Colleen's coming back, first time in a long time. We're glad to have her. You put me on the spot here.
I know. Look at the list there. Well, the guest list is like 200 names. So
yeah, there are quite a few. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to interviewing Colleen. She was one of the first people to agree to do an interview with us, so I'm going to have to keep my fanboy nature in check and not revert back to being 21 again, sitting in that ballroom. But, lots of it. June Brigman is going to be here at HeroesCon this year. Has June been here before?
Oh, yeah, quite a few times. She and Roy live in Atlanta, and so, they're almost local for us, so they come every few years. We love having June. She's so talented.
She was definitely one of those pioneers at Marvel Comics for breaking the glass ceiling for women, I think, and especially in the 80s.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, she and Louise did Power Pack, and that was very well received. I think there's a new one coming.
A new Power Pack on its way. Yeah. That's great. So June Brigman, also, we're going to interview her. Lots of great folks who are coming. Sergio Aragones is coming back for the first time in a number of years. That's got to be exciting for you.
Yeah, Sergio is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world.
Just in general. Doesn't matter about art. It's just
so
people.
Much fun. Yeah, he was here in '85.
Okay, 1985. Back in the day. Look at that.
This was the third show, right? 82, 83, fourth show.
Fourth show.
But he's also collaborating with another one of our returning guests, Stan Sakai.
Right.
So we're doing a Gru and Usagi cover for the program book and the T-shirt.
Oh,
so
that's great. And we have that artwork on the wall right back there too.
Usagi right there, and we're doing a variant of his new #1 by Charles Vess.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, Usagi's going to be large at the convention this year.
Yeah. Well, let's dig through the stack here a little bit and go down memory lane. That's 85.
This was 92.
92.
The 10th anniversary show. This is the first one.
The very first one.
Yeah. I put a price tag on it. It was $1, but I gave them away, so I don't know what that's all about.
So what are those worth now?
I don't know. I think people have paid $10, $20 maybe or more.
A lot of nostalgia involved, and what a lineup of guests, by the way, from that first year.
Yeah, Zach's back, Pat's back.
Pat Broderick, Mike Zach, John Beatty.
Yeah.
Who else have we got?
Paul Glacy was here.
He was here a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And was he here last year as well?
I think it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. Here's one from '90.
I was there for this one. Adam Hughes cover.
Printed in purple ink. This is special purple ink edition.
So you sent that to Renegade Press to print, right? Were they the ones that did the black and white books with one color for a while?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. But this is the first art Adam did for us for a program book. This is from 2001. We had Gaijin Studios Jam on an Avengers cover.
Oh, nice.
So you've got Brian Stelfreeze and Cully Hamner and Georges Gente, all of it inked by Carl Story, and this is Adam Hughes down here, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Wow, and most of those guys will be at HeroesCon this year.
Most of them, yeah.
That's amazing.
Absolutely. This is a fun jam. This is Alex Ross did this one for us with Mike Wieringo, one of our perennial favorites that we miss so much. I'm going to cry because I can't talk about that. And Ron Garney.
Yes.
So I'm trying to remember how we did this. I think probably Ringo laid it out, did the Spidey pencils and inks. We sent it to Ron, he put in the cap, and then we sent it to Alex, and he painted in the torch and the rest of the whole thing.
Nice.
It's one of my prized originals in my collection.
Now, Mike Wieringo is still a heavy presence at HeroesCon, and I believe there's some charity associated with him. Is that right?
They did set up a scholarship fund for SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design. But he was always a supporter of the ASPCA and some things like that. So yeah, there's some ongoing charities that have Mike's name attached to it.
And there's usually a table presence, right? Is it who is it that sets that up? It's another Wieringo. Is it?
It's his brother Matt.
His brother. Okay.
And he'll be there again this year.
Great.
Yep.
Always worth checking out. What a loss to the industry. Great artist for sure. Now, talking about some charities, you guys do the drink and draw. You do a lot of things in and around HeroesCon. It's not just the con days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Tell us what fans can expect and what other great things are going on around the con.
Well, Friday night, after the exhibit hall closes, we have what's called the drink and draw. Right. And it's a benefit for Team Cul-de-sac, which is a charity. It's a branch of a charity of the Michael J. Fox Foundation that raises money for Parkinson's research. It's in honor of Richard Thompson, who passed away of Parkinson's disease. I guess it's been about 3-4 years ago now, but almost 10 years ago, he was at our first drink and draw, and I think that was the year he was actually diagnosed. And so the next year we started doing it in honor of him and to raise money, even while he was still alive. And so, it's always remembering Richard Thompson.
Yeah.
And raising money for a good cause.
So, I know you mentioned that this is one of your favorite covers. What are some others? Let's kind of go back to this for a minute. Walk us through, memory lane a little bit.
Well, Joe Quesada introducing Ash back in '95. This is when we talked Michael Golden out of retirement from appearing at shows. This is his comeback show in '97.
Wait, so he was retired, and then in '97 he came back, and you haven't been able to get rid of him since, right?
He just wasn't making appearances. It'd probably been 15, 20 years since he'd been at a show at this point in time.
Now, he's a staple at Heroes now.
He is. I guess we're responsible for kind of getting him out of the house. But I think he saw what we were doing, and he enjoys the atmosphere, and probably makes a little money too.
I love seeing him every time at HeroesCon.
Ron Garney did this piece in '98. This is the only show we had in July ever. It was on July 4th weekend, so we did a Captain America theme. Back in the day when it wasn't quite so crazy busy getting ready to do a show, we enjoyed doing jams. So
Right.
this is a pretty cool jam with John Romita Jr. and George Perez and Ron Garney and Joe Quesada, and that was actually John Byrne. That's John Byrne. Who did that one? I guess John Byrne did that piece too. So this was sent around the country, and everybody drew actually on a board.
So you sent this to each artist, and they would add their contribution.
Right.
Did they ever bicker about who was going to do which characters or how they were going to do it?
Not really.
Was it did you come up with the idea, the general concept, or who came up with the idea?
Well, I mean, the idea is just get your favorite artist to draw your favorite characters on a single board. So I think we started with George, and then they just build on it.
Okay. That's really cool.
Yeah, another prized original in my collection.
Oh, so you got to keep the original of that? Oh,
Well,
nice. Or
I try really hard to retain all the art that is produced especially for the show. Kind of put it in an archive. We've had a couple of different exhibits showing off art over the years. So another year or two, 40th is coming up. We'll probably have another chance to see it all.
oh, that's right. So here in Charlotte, you do that?
The last time we had it out, it was in Abingdon, Virginia.
Oh.
Yeah, the gallery up there.
Very nice.
I'm hoping to find a place in Charlotte. This was Rob Haynes. He was a one-time employee here, and he's done tons of art for the majors. He's more of a designer almost than what you see as an artist that's credited all the time, but he's doing all kinds of good work underneath. Good kid too. Here's another jam. Yeah, bunch of our favorites. It's always fun to do.
Those are great.
Oh, he's coming back this year. And,
yes.
and Brando's coming back this year. And Tony Harris is coming back this year. Who else? Well, that's Jason Pearson. This is Tony Harris.
It seems like it's kind of a family reunion for a lot of people to come to HeroesCon now. At least that's the vibe I'm getting from you. It's like seeing old friends.
Yeah, I think they enjoy seeing each other and being here. I think it's a pretty low-key show for them. It's not like a San Diego or a New York Comic-Con where they're in meetings all the time with their editors and the marketing staffs, and they got to do this or do that. It's like when you come here, you just do what you want to do with who you want to do it with,
Looking ahead, you just mentioned the 40th anniversary coming up pretty soon, sooner than I think any of us are comfortable with, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do for the 40th, or let's even forecast further down the road? Let's say 50. When you hit the big gold watch, what kind of con would you like to see happening by that point in time?
I think we're close to where we want to be. We're using pretty much the entire convention center.
It doesn't get much bigger.
We're not going to move, so we can't make it physically a whole lot bigger. Just continue the path that we're on. We're not going to compromise and invite actors or wrestlers or any of that. Sure, we could have more people through the door, and I hope that happens, but it's going to be the same format.
Staying true, holding true.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that you've wanted to get to come to a show here that you haven't yet? Is there one of those big kind of if I could just get this one person to show up one time and do one of these cons, I would be happy. Is there one of those?
Well, there's a lot of those actually.
Okay.
A lot of people I regret not having that I probably could have had. Jack Kirby, for example.
Right.
I met him a couple of times at other shows, even here in North Carolina, and I think it was in my mind that, gosh, he's been to Greensboro. I don't really need to have him in Charlotte, which was stupid. So I should have pursued that, and other people who have passed. But I've been inviting Frank Miller forever.
Sure.
since since the early days of Daredevil. So
does he just not do cons?
yeah, he does, but he's a busy guy, and it gets a lot of pressure when he comes to shows. So, but
You're still going to try though. Keep trying.
He's been invited every year for 30 years. What are you talking about? I'm not going to stop now.
The law of averages is on your side. At some point, he's going to say yes, even if it's accidentally, right?
Yeah. We've actually already got a lot of cool stuff lined up for 2020.
Oh. You have to feel proud of the fact that you've got one of the only comic book only shows out there, and it is as big as it is. I would imagine a lot of these guys are sitting there waiting for you to invite them, or they're going, I really want to do that show, because this boils it down to the essence of what comics are all about, a show like this. So I would imagine it's easy to get some of them to say yes.
I wouldn't say it's easy, but I hope that they think of it that way. It really comes down to scheduling and what they have on their plate to do. Most of these guys don't want to do more than one, maybe 2 shows a month, because it takes a week out of your month to prepare and travel and get over it, and I understand that.
Sure. Yeah, it's a big commitment, and as a lot of these folks are getting older, traveling that much is difficult. So, not to put it on a sour note, but fans, don't wait. Don't wait. I have so much regret. Bernie Wrightson, who has been at HeroesCon a ton,
Right.
and I would always pass by his table. There was either a line or there was something, and I'd be like, next year. And then when he passed away, it changed my outlook on how I approach these cons. I'm now on a mission to get single issues signed by as many of these guys as I can get, because I don't want to miss those opportunities, and I did with him, and there are others that I've kind of missed along the way. Lynn Wing, would have loved to have gotten his signature on some things.
Another regret. I never had Lynn. I should have.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things where I'm like, I'm not going to let the opportunity slip by me again. So that's what I do at a lot of cons now, is autograph hunt.
And getting in front of them for that autograph gives you that at least 1 or maybe 2 minutes to speak to them and maybe shake their hand and thank them and let them know what they meant to you, And you can always say, yeah, I met Bernie Wrightson at whatever year, Bernie was another one of those who's just such a close friend after the repeated, times that he was here. One of the last times he put a piece in the auction on Saturday night. Actually, he penciled it, and Scott Hampton painted it. It was a beautiful dinosaur.
Wow.
And but before we auctioned it off, he got up to introduce it, and he said some of the nicest things that have ever been said to or about me, about the show. And if anybody has a recording of that, please let me know, because
we want to make Shelton cry. Let's get that out there.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
For sure. I'm sure somebody
I've
must
got still photographs of that time, but I don't have any video of it, and I really wish I did.
It's amazing. I admire you so much for your commitment all these years, 37 years and counting. I admire the fact that you're giving a platform to all of these artists, and I can tell that there's a passion that you have. You have an affection for comics that runs so deep, and you and I have talked off and on about how personal it is to you, not just as a fan, but as friends to a lot of these guys over the years. So, just my hat's off to you. The world of fandom owes you a debt of gratitude for everything you do with HeroesCon.
Well, I appreciate that.
I know.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much, Shelton. I appreciate you, man, and looking forward to the con. I know if you're at the con and you see someone running around looking panicked with their hair on fire, it's probably Shelton. No, you have other people do that for you, right? Oh, that's where it all went.
Yeah, that's what happened.
All right, have a great con, man. We'll see you soon.
All right, thanks
a lot. So that's the breakdown. We'll see you soon.